Okay, well, I'm back. We went up into the woods and found a real nice chunk of wood right here that has some real nice detail to it, that once I start working on the wood itself and bring out all the different, grain and the wood and stuff will be good. But first I'm going to take a gourd that Bonnie's grown and I'm going to cut out the bottom of it so that what I can ultimately do is put it into something like this and into this. And then I'm thinking what I'll do is a couple things. I might make like a bird perch for it like that, or maybe I'll take a nail, or I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But right now what I'm doing is I'm going to cut this out and then I'm going to place it into here and then we'll see how it looks. So I'm not going to attach it yet, but this is basically how it's going to look. I've cut out the opening, kind of nice. I did a little bit of a design on it, but I'm not sure I'm going to stay with that. What I'm also thinking I might do is take a piece of this bark and put it over here and then water this down or soak it so that it'll wrap around the front to give me a little bit of a different look to it. And then I'm going to take it and place it into here, something similar like that. And then I can start being creative. I'm not sure whether I want to, I've got a really nice old rusty nail I might want to stick in here for the bird to land on. Or I also have another perch around here somewhere that I thought maybe I might try. Something similar to this maybe that might stick out. So that's my next thing, but this is what I'm looking at right now. So I took that piece of bark that I showed you with the hole on it, and I'm soaking it in some hot water out in the sun right now. And I'm going to see if maybe I could cut a larger piece of it that would wrap around and give it a little bit more detail on the front of this. In the meantime, Bonnie was nice enough. I scraped out all the gourd seeds and saved them for growing more gourds. And then Bonnie took a special kind of a paste wax or something over there, sanded this down for me, and then gave it a real nice polished luster. So this is what it's going to basically look like when it sits in there. Something similar to that. I can't get it to sit there now probably because I gotta give it some a little bit more weight and stuff. But anyhow, it's going to look something like that. Then I cut this at an angle, and I'm thinking about maybe putting this. I made a mark here like that, and having that be a perch that it could land on as well. You probably can't see that real well, but it's a real cool little piece. It's the top of a gourd actually from somewhere else. And so we'll see what happens. I'm going to just put this in place kind of temporarily for right now and then work on the perch. So I put a different tip in my Dremel drill, a router kind of. What I'm going to do is I marked where this is going to go onto here, and what I want to do is I want to gouge that out a little bit so that it will recess in and stay in place a little bit longer. First I got to turn it on by plugging it in. That usually works a lot better. Something like that. Okay, so I've routed this out right in this area so that this tip of another gourd will recess in and go in something like that once I put on some killer glue and stick it down in there. But it'll also help to support it in there because it's inlaid in by a good 1/4 inch or so, and it will allow any kind of a bird to come and perch onto here before he drops down into the little birdhouse. So anybody that's been following me or bought our birdhouses knows that I am big on teak oil. I love teak oil put onto the wood itself. Not only does it preserve it, but it brings a highlight out of how nice the individual grains of an old stump or whatever are. So in the area where I'm going to be putting the gourd, and I won't be able to get underneath it, I'm going to get some teak oil on it now so that it brings out that real nice look to the wood. And let it soak in real good before I come back and apply it on a more permanent basis. And then I can start working on the perch and some other little things that I want to do to this to kind of dress it up a little bit and make it very unique. Anyhow, so teak oil goes on next. While I was putting the teak oil on, I realized that this front section here, which is really weather worn, is kind of silver. And I decided that I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to put any teak oil on it because what it does is it would change the whole color of it. And it looks kind of nice to leave it that silver color as well. So I'm going to leave it alone for right now and leave it be like that. And now I can start working on putting the gourd in, and then also taking my piece here and attaching it onto here like this. And then we'll see how it looks again. Okay, well, I've progressed quite a way since I talked on this. Here's what I've done last or lately. I took the gourd, and what I did was I am attaching a piece, well, you can't see it from here, but I'm attaching a real nice piece of bark with a smaller hole on the front. Now you'll see it when I get closer to it. And what's going to happen with it is going to ultimately go back up into here like this. And let's see, I'll hold that down there like that for now. And then I'm starting to put some of the tree bark moss into different locations to where ultimately, if I like it, I'm going to make them stay. Something similar to that. I doubt if it'll stay now. Yeah, maybe. But you can see I put some moss down in the bottom and then up on the top. I can bring it a little bit closer to you too if you want to see it that way. And around like that. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. I did mount the perch in there. I'm going to hide the base going in. When I take the tape back off on the gourd, there should be a real nice piece of wood wrapped around it, just the size of the opening of the hole going into the birdhouse itself. Kind of cool. I'm also going to add onto here that while I'm looking out the window, I've got some sparrows that are going in one of my other gourd birdhouses just outside the studio. So I'll put that on here too and let you see that. But yeah, it's coming along. I'm not sure exactly what else I'm going to do to it, but we'll see, and I'll show you when I do it. Adios. Okay, I think I'm done with this guy. I feel like calling it Full Moon Rising. It feels like with the gourd coming up over those mountains on each side of it, it's kind of cool for that. It's a homegrown gourd. Pieces of bark with the hole in it for at the gourd entrance. A gourd top from another gourd. Of course, a real nice piece of wood that came from one of the pieces up in the forest. Mountain ferns, ponderosa pine, and small dried plants from up in the mountains as well. So yeah, pretty happy with it. I made it a table stand type, or one that can sit outside on a flat table. And I don't know, I guess I could kind of show you this too. I made a real nice base for the back end of it as well. That kind of holds it all up and into place, so that when it does sit down flat, it's got a real strong, stable base to it. Anyhow, we're calling it done.